Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make these pumpkin friendship bracelets. And for your reference, this tutorial I did originally learn it from a bracelet book from the creator Claire Hare. And I'll be showing you how to make them. So to make this bracelet you need 2 colors of embroidery thread. I'm using orange for the pumpkin, as well as purple for the background and the stem. Okay, you're also going to need some scissors to cut your string, of course, and you're going to need something to hold the bracelet down as you use them. You can use some tape and tape it down on your surface. You can also use a clipboard. That's my preferred choice, but just for the video I will be using this, as it will be able to be shown a lot better and easier. Okay, so we're going to start off with cutting our strings. I already have some purple that's open, so I'm going to be using this purple. You need 1 piece for the purple. Okay, I'm just gonna cut some out right now. The length that you want is about the length of your arm span. Okay, so about 150 centimeters, maybe a little bit more than that. The longer the better, because you don't want to get to a position where you end up having too short of strings at the end, because then you'll find yourself in a pickle. Future me here. So 150 centimeters is actually not long enough. You need about 220 centimeters. 100 centimeters will be on one side, and then on the other side of your purple string we'll do 120 centimeters. So yeah, be generous with your string cutting. So for the orange strings, they don't need to be as long, because as you can see in the bracelet, most of the parts that are giving the bracelet length, like all these little loops, are in purple. So the orange does not need to be as long, but I'm still going to be generous and cut about 150 centimeters for each string. And that is what I'm doing right now. My 2 strings. Okay, I've cut them both. These are the ends. Okay, and that's all you need. Just need 3 strips of string for this, as we have over here. To start our bracelet, we have a little loop at the top, and it's all in purple. So what we want to do is we want to take our 3 strings. We're going to take the purple one. Okay, see how there's a loop kind of at the center. Now one thing I will mention first is that notice how we have the stems all on one side of the bracelet. That means that the side that has the stem is going to need a slightly longer length for the purple, because you're going to be using it more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to off-center my purple a little bit. Right now they're both together at the end, so I'm just going to off-center it so that one is longer than the other. Let's say about this much longer. Okay, my string is already really long, so I'm not really worried about it running out, but I am going to do this just to be sure. Okay, so now that my string is off-centered, I'm going to bring back my orange, and I'm going to go through it from the bottom, like so. Okay, and once my purple is through, I'm going to take the ends of the purple and make them go through the loop and pull it tight. Okay, so we have the beginnings of our loop right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8 backward forward knots, or forward backwards knot. Here, Let me start making them and then we'll figure out if they're forward, backward, or backward, forward. Okay, so I'm just gonna tape my string like so. I will take one end of this, and let me zoom in for you guys so that you can see better. Okay, so now I'm gonna be starting my loop. Now to do that, I will take the string closest to me, so this one will put it out of the way, and I'm going to go over the orange and then take the string and go under it and then pull that forward all the way to the top. And then we're gonna do the same thing but from the opposite end. So I'm gonna pull over my purple to the left side and then go under my orange. And then pull all the way up. Okay, now this counts as just one knot. So I'm gonna do 7 more of these on this side. So I'll do the same thing, over, all the way to the top, and under, all the way to the top. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I've done my 8 on this side. Now because I want both of my strings on the 2 side to be even in length, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna flip my bracelet over to the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just flipping it over. I'm gonna put this under here. All right, and I'm gonna do 8 on this side, but now because we flipped it over, all the knots are facing the left. We're actually gonna start from the left side first. Okay, so we go purple to the left side, then we go under and in, and then we flip to the right side and go under and into the loop. Okay, and we're gonna do that 6 more times, or sorry, 7 more times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and last one. 8. Okay, now I'm gonna take my knots, and what I want to do is I want to bend them so that they are forming a loop. So I'm just gonna curve it to the center, and I find that 8 on both sides will allow you to have a loop that is just big enough to allow the ends to go through comfortably. So that's why I like 8 on both sides. And then now that I have this shape, I'm just gonna bring it back to my tape, and I'm gonna hold it under the tape like so. You want the ends, of course, to be sticking out so that you can do the next part. When your bracelet is still a bit short, you might find that it wants to come out of the tape as you pull. So be gentle in your pulling. And what I'm gonna do as well is I'm just gonna do another layer of tape on top of it to hold it in place. Okay, just like so. Okay, now if you notice, we have the 2 strings getting combined with the orange. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're going to take 2 oranges, 1 from each side. So I'm taking right now the orange from the left side, and now I'm taking the orange from the right, like so. And I'm just gonna knot those 2 together. Could be a a forward knot or a backward knot, doesn't really matter. Both of them work because they're both the same color. So here I am doing a forward knot, one, and then another one. Apologies on these guys always coming in the way. Two. Okay, we have now our first knot for the pumpkin. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start on my right side. I'm gonna take the string that is coming out from the right, and then I'm gonna take both of these strings together that are sticking out from the right side, okay? And I'll do a forward knot on both of these together. One, and then we're gonna go over and under for two. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna go, and this time it has to be a backwards knot. So here's one, and then two. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my two inner orange, and I will tie the two of those together. So I'll do a forward knot. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so I just went under and under this orange and into the loop for one, and I'm going to do the same thing. Two. Okay, we have our beginnings of our pumpkin. Now we're gonna move on to using the purple. I'm gonna do the right side first. With this purple, you want to do a forward knot onto your rightmost orange. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it around the rightmost orange. One, and another one. Two. Whoopsie. It came out of my tape, but that's okay. You can just tape it back again. Okay. All right, so we have our two knots, and we have this knot now here. On the other side, instead of going with the purple on top of the orange, I'm gonna take my leftmost orange, and I'm gonna do a forward backward knot over top of this purple. So we'll go forward and then backwards. So we go on the to the other side. Okay, just like so. Now we're gonna go back to the inner oranges. Okay, we'll do a forward knot over here. One, and another one. Two. And then on the other side, we're gonna do a forward backward knot onto the purple, or sorry, backwards forward knot. So this is the backwards portion, backwards, and then the forwards portion, forward, and then we're going to do one more forward knot between the two oranges. One and two. Okay, now is the part where we're gonna make the stem of our pumpkin, and it is probably the trickiest part of making this bracelet. Okay, for the stem, it will make your life a lot easier if you have a pin or a needle to help you kind of bend it over itself. So I'm just gonna grab a needle right now to help me with that. There we go. I'm going to use this needle to help me with that job. So what you want to do is you want to take your string and then you're just going to twist it over itself. Twisty, twisty, twisty. You know how when you make twisted ends, you twist them real tight? Or even like when you do a twisted braid, you twist it real tight and then it ends up twisting over itself. That's the idea over here, is that we're going to twist it really nice and tight. And then when we bend it over itself, I'm going to use my needle to help me bend it over. I want my stem to be this long. Bend it over itself and then let go. See how it twisted? That is what makes your stem. So I'm just going to hold it gently with my thumb and I'm just going to help it twist a little bit more. Okay. And if I zoom in a little bit more, maybe you can see it better. You can see how now I have a twisted stem. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, you want to keep the stem twisted, okay? So when you let go, you want to let go gently. And what I do is I hold my stem in place so that it doesn't unravel while I pull this end of the string. Now it's okay if this one untwists at this point because we've already made our stem and I'm holding my stem still so that it's not undone. Okay, and this next part you want to be really gentle so that your stem does not come undone. What I'm gonna do is I'm letting go of my stem right now. I'm gonna find the orange that is adjacent to my purple, so just this one. And I'm gonna do a backwards knot. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit to show you. So I'm taking my purple and I'm going to do a backwards knot over this orange. And you want to be really patient and gentle with this because if you tug too hard on the purple, your stem's going to come undone. So here's my first backwards. I'm holding my orange in place and I'm gently pulling my purple up. Just until I see it land where I want it to. I'm not going to pull tight at all because I don't want my stem to come undone. Okay, I'm just going to make sure it gets to the point where I need it to get. And then once I'm at this point, I'm going to do my second knot. And with the second knot, of course, you can tuck a little bit tighter because at this point, your stem has been secured. You can twist it a little bit more so that it stays in place. And I'm just going to bring back my my purple string. Okay, on the other side, with this orange and purple string, you're going to do a forward-backward knot again. Forward, backwards. Okay, and at this point we are ready to close up our pumpkin. So what we do now is I'll start off with my rightmost orange. I'm going to take my rightmost orange and I'm going to tie it across both two strings that are on the right side, so the purple and the orange. I'm going to do a backwards knot on both of them. 1, 2, and I'm going to do a forward knot with my leftmost orange onto my two left side strings. So a forward knot like so. 1 and another one. My thing is coming out. Let me just push it back in. And another one. And 2. And now I'm going to tie both two strings in the center, both two oranges together. Forward knot or backward knot, it does not matter. So I'm just going to do a forward knot here. 1. And I'm just flattening my pumpkin to make sure that it's nice and in place. And 2. And voila, we have our first pumpkin. Now because I was using my I'm seeing this through the camera, so you can see that I got a little bit did not tie that one very tightly. That's okay. I'm just gonna shift it a little bit in place. Okay, and that's our first pumpkin. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our next loop. It's a very similar process to how we did our first one. So what we do for that is just at this point I'm gonna try and push my pumpkin into it so that I have more holding. Okay, so what we do is I'm taking the purple on my right side and I'm gonna do 7 or 8. I think I'm actually gonna do 8. 7 tends to be a little bit shorter. Your loop will be a little smaller, so I like 8. I'm gonna do 8 forward, backwards knot, or sorry, backward, forward knot on this 2 sides, two orange strings on the right side. So that's 1 and then 2. Oops. Squeezing outside without. 1, 2, and here's me. Backward, forward, backward, forward, 5, backwards, forward, 6, backwards, forward, 7, and 8. Alright, now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side, but instead of backwards, forwards, now they're going to be forward, backwards. So I'm taking my purple over the 2 oranges and I'm going to go forward. 1 and then backward. That's 1 knot, forward, backwards. That's 2 knots, forward, backwards, 3 knots, forward, backwards. That's 4 knots, and then 5, 6, 7, and finally 8. Okay, now we have both sides of our loop and we start over with the pumpkin. So we're going to do the exact same process that we did for our first pumpkin all over again. Okay, so we're going to take the 2 oranges. Okay, 2 oranges. 2 oranges. I'm going to do a forward knot. 1, 2. Then I'll do on the right side, I'll do a forward knot on both 2 strings. 1, 2. Then on the left side, I'm going to do a backwards knot on both strings. 1, 2. Then in the center, we're going to tie the 2 oranges together. I'm going to do a forward knot between them. 1, 2. And as you go along in the bracelet, let's say you're at 2 oranges, what I like to do usually is I like to do the knot with the string that is longer. Right now it's still early on, so there isn't really a difference between the 2 lengths of my strings. But if I happen to see that my right string was longer, I'll do a backward knot. So that way it balances out the lengths of the strings later on. Okay, now we're going to do the forward knot, purple string onto the rightmost orange. 1, 2. And then on the left side, we're gonna do a forward backward knot with our orange that's on the leftmost side. So that's forward onto the purple and then backwards. Okay. So at this point, we're going to knot our left side of our center orange on the purple. We're gonna do a backwards forward knot. Let's see how I want up. And then on the other side, I'm just gonna do 2 forward knots. Or is this backward? No, it's backwards. 2 backwards knots. 2 backwards knots. 1. And there goes my bracelet again. 1. Make sure it is nice and tight. And then 2 on between the 2 center oranges. Okay, now it's time to do the stem again. So as we did before, we're going to twist, 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 twist our purple. Nice and tight. Then I'm gonna use my needle to help me. I'm gonna hold it just where I want my stem to end. I'm gonna fold it over itself, and then I'm gonna let go of my needle, and that will create that little twist. I'll help it twist in place a little more. Then I'll hold it with my thumb. And then what we're gonna do is a backwards knot onto the orange with the purple. So I'm gonna hold my purple, bring out the orange that I will tie on top of. And we'll do a backwards knot. And again, you want to be very nice and gentle so your stem does not come undone. Here's 1. Okay. And I'm not gonna pull tighter than this because then my stem will come undone. 1 and then 2. One on top of it. 2. Okay. Now we will go over to the other side with the leftmost orange, and we'll do a forward backward knot onto the purple. Here's 1 and then a backwards knot. 2. Alrighty. And now we close our pumpkin yet again. I'm going to take my rightmost orange and I'll do a backwards knot on the 2 strings that are on the right side. So a backwards knot. 1, nice and tight, and 2, and then with the leftmost orange I'm gonna do a forward knot on my 2 left strings. So 1 and 2, and then we're just gonna close our pumpkin by doing a forward or a backward knot between those 2 strings. I'm gonna do a forward knot. 1 is pumpkin 2. Okay, now you're gonna keep going on for however long you want it. Between my 2 pumpkins, what I like to do is I just like to round out my inner loop so that it's nice and round like so, instead of how it was quite stretched out. Okay, and you're just gonna keep going. So in this one I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 9. I made 9 pumpkins. It's gonna vary for you, however length you want to make yours. Could even be a cute choker if you wanted to make it, but you'll have to make sure you add a lot more length to your string to begin with if you want to make it that long. I'm gonna make the rest of my bracelet and then I'll show you how to end it in a bit. See ya! Alright everyone, I am back after completing 8 of these little pumpkins. I felt that 8 was a good length for my bracelet. And now I'm going to show you how you do the ending. So if you see in here, I end it with one last loop. I have previously ended it with my braids coming out of the pumpkin, and it did not look good. And so what I do is I make one last loop and then I do the braids. So how do you do this last loop? It's very, very straightforward. So I do is you're gonna do the same thing that we did originally to make the 2 the loops in between. So I'm gonna take my purple, and on the right side I'm going to do backward forward knots. So here's the backward, and 1, and here's the forward. That's 1 knot, and just like I did previously, I'm gonna do 8 on each side. So that's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, backwards and forwards. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. 8, and this time they're gonna be forward, backward. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now I have my 2 loops. Now I'm gonna join them together to make like a final standing loop. And the way you do that is I'm gonna start off with my left, and I'm gonna do a forward backward knot, but this time on both of them together. So I'll do, and on both oranges on both sides. So here's my forward, and here's my backwards, and then I'm gonna do repeat the same thing on this side, but so I'll take this rightmost purple one and I'll wrap it around everything now. So I'll do a backwards on top of everything, and then a forward on top of everything. And there we go. We have our final loop. Lovely. And then for the end, you can do twisted ties or you can do braids. For this one, I have been enjoying making braids for them. We're just gonna braid the 3 strings on each side, so 2 oranges and 1 purple. Just a normal regular braid like you always do. I'm trying to make it nice and tight though, so I'm pulling them all the way to the end, and then I'm just gonna braid regularly all the way down, making sure to pull the strings from the bottom as I go so that they don't get knotted. So I've braided to be about this long, about 10 centimeters, I would say. I like to make my ends longer than shorter so that whoever's gonna be wearing it will have this much leeway to make it either whatever size they need it to be. And then just once you get to the end, you're just gonna tie a knot over the braid. So just make a loop and then go under and over. Pull all the strings through and then tighten it. And I like to put some of the braid into the knot as well so that I know it's going to be nice and secure, just like so. And there we go, our first end is done. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other end now. Okay, I've finished braiding my other side. Now I'm just gonna find the point where I put the knot and I'm gonna try and match it. It's about right a little bit. There we go, that's about even on both sides. And then the last part is just to cut the remaining string at the same point. And here you have your pumpkin bracelet. Just make these nice and circular all over. And ta-da! You're all done. And here we go. Now we have a bit of a collection. That's the second one. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see any more tutorials, you can always leave requests in the comments. Thank you for watching.